this document you just put out. At least I think. That's my opinion. And I'm entitled to that opinion. The other thing, without going into page by page with you, is this notion of taxes. And I understand your position on taxes, but, where does this stop? We're not supposed to take money for the transit center. Whether you like the transit center or don't like it, that's not the point. I mean, now do we stop taking money for our schools? Do we stop taking money from the state for our roads? Do we stop taking money for the people who are unemployed to get unemployment insurance? I mean, where does this stop with your attitude that money, we should never take money from it? I'm really, it boggles my mind. I guess I don't know what you're really looking for in that.
I don't agree that I would never think that government money is necessary. There is a proper and limited role to our federal government that includes safety and projects, but this project is being funded by money that doesn't exist. If this project had more viability, the whole scope may be different. Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
I just wanted to point out, rather than interrupt you, I guess I was taken a little bit aback by the fact that you were going to use this opportunity to read a 5-page paper into the record. But if we're going to have a conversation about rules and procedure and whether we have it tonight or we decide to wait until Councilmember Fleming is back here, I just want to point out that we have rules that apply to this type of discussion. There's time limits in which we cannot speak for more than 5 minutes unless you choose to try to suspend the rules, which you did not want to do. I didn't want to interrupt you. Quite frankly, I thought it was probably appropriate that everyone got an opportunity to hear your opinions here. But in the future, I would really ask, especially if we're going to have a conversation about rules and procedure where you're going to be bringing forward some changes that I think are changes that you're asking that are made, and I'm hoping that they're not changes someone else is asking for you to ask to make. But I'm wanting to make sure that we are at least aware of the rules and procedures that we're operating under right now. And one of those is that you can't just take it upon yourself to address everyone for in excess of, I don't know even how long that was, maybe 15 minutes when the rules clearly state that you're limited to 5 unless you move to suspend them. So I just want to point that out for the next time, that's something like that.
I've been very liberal with allowing the public and the council members to speak. I think that if you look at the rules of procedure, each council member is supposed to speak only twice. Is that correct, Mrs. Bittner?
I believe you're referring to Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay.
That's at the discretion of the chair typically, or a majority of the council members present.
So it has been my discretion to allow or to encourage discussion from all sides of the table. I have not stopped anyone from the public or from the council or from management to speak, and I think that I should be afforded the same opportunities to speak.
Mayor.
Councilman Teets? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Mayor. I was just going to, there is a specific council rule, Rule 23, and that does address the situation, and there is a 5-minute limit on the conversation. So Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis was correct.
Okay, and is there also the limitation on the council's speaking more than twice?
I can read it for you, Mayor, if you would like. What it says is, no member of council shall speak a second time in any item under discussion until all other members desiring to speak on that item have been heard. No member of council shall be allowed to speak for more than 5 minutes at a time.
I think we all passed that limit at some point, or at least Councilman Slater.
Rather than going,
Councilman Teets?
rather than going through all this again and so forth, I'd love to, let's proceed with the meeting. Go on to the next item in the agenda, please.
Okay. Well, there are no postponed items, so we can move to regular business. There are no board or committee appointments or nominations scheduled. The request for a closed session has been withdrawn by Attorney Bloom. Attorney Bloom, did you want to speak on that?
No, Your Honor, but there is a resolution. One of the members of council may wish to have a closed session, and in that event, they would need to move the resolution. If no one feels that a closed session is necessary, then you do not have to vote on this item. You can move on.
Does anybody wish to have that closed session at this time? Okay, we can move on then. Then on the agenda, there's a resolution for the purchase of smartphones. Would someone please like to make the resolution? Councilman Teets?
Whereas an effort, therefore be it resolved, the Troy City Council hereby determines to be the public's best interest to authorize City of Troy to purchase wireless devices, smartphones, service plans from Verizon Wireless through the GSA scheduled contract, GSA 35F0119P at rates as contained in Appendix 1, a copy which shall be attached to the original minutes of this meeting.
Support.
Just to point out to the public that's watching tonight, this will actually save $27.99 per device per month, and there's 61 devices, so $19,700 something dollars. So this is good stuff.
Any further discussion? Vote, Mrs. Bittner?
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Yes.
Councilmember Slater?
Yes.
Councilmember Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes.
Councilmember Campbell?
Yes.
Motion passes. The next agenda item is for the acceptance of the 2011 Assistance to Firefighters Grant. Would someone please make the required motion?
Madam Mayor.
Resolution, excuse me, yes.
Resolved that Troy City Council hereby authorizes the Troy Fire Department to receive a FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant and expend $5,000 for the purchase of equipment and training in accordance with the award, and be it further resolved that Troy City Council hereby amends the Fire Department budget to receive the grant funding of $20,000.
Second.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis, seconded by Councilman Teets. Discussion? Being as this is consistent with the proper role of government to assist communities in remaining safe, I would only ask how many pages of regulations come attached to this grant. Is there an answer, Attorney or Manager Zerly?
I'm not aware of how many pages of regulations that we have. Perhaps the fire chief knows, or
It's a rhetorical question, quite frankly. It's not that important. We can always look at it later. I would be voting in favor of this anyway. A vote, please, Mrs. Bittner?
Councilmember Henderson?
yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Yes.
Councilmember Slater?
Yes.
Councilmember Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes.
Councilmember Campbell?
Yes.
Motion passes. Now, there's been a request to postpone the hearing for the revocation of a massage facility license. Could someone address this?
Madam Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Resolved that the Troy City Council hereby postpones the hearing for the revocation of a massage facility license for Recovery Spa Incorporated at 1975 East Maple Road to the regular City Council meeting scheduled on Monday, January 23rd, 2012.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis, seconded by Councilman Campbell. Discussion? A vote, please, Mrs. Bittner?
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Yes.
Councilmember Slater?
Yes.
Councilmember Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes.
Councilmember Campbell?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Motion passes. We now move to the consent agenda items. Are there any items that council would like to remove for discussion? Okay, would someone please move the resolution to vote on the consent agenda? Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Teets?
Yep. Madam Mayor, 04C, the Purchasing Cooperative Award, just to mention that this is another effort to work cooperatively, I believe with Sterling Heights this time, to maximize the deal that we're going to get on gas and diesel. So good stuff again. It's going to save us money. So just wanted to mention that.
Okay, so can we have a resolution on the consent agenda items as printed? Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Madam Mayor, resolved that the Troy City Council hereby approves all items on the consent agenda as presented.
Second? Second?
Second.
Okay. Resolution made by Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis, seconded by Councilman Campbell. A discussion? A vote, please, Mrs. Bittner?
Councilmember Slater?
Yes.
Councilmember Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes.
Councilmember Campbell.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Are there any questions regarding the announcement of public hearing for industrial facilities exemption certificate for T-Powell Brothers Printing scheduled for January 23rd, 2012? Okay, so that's going to be on the agenda then. We will be having a study session this evening to go over the proposed changes in the rules of procedure. But before we do, I'd like to get input from council and city management regarding our hosting an event regarding suicide prevention. I've personally been devastated by the suicide of someone close to me, as many others have. So I believe it's really important that we make sure that all the resources that are available within our community are readily known, so that no matter what happens in your life, suicide should never be an option. Life is too precious and fragile as it is. I'd like some discussion, if I can, on this seminar that I might like to host at the end of the month or shortly thereafter. No comments? Well, I'll work with...
Mayor,
Yes, Councilman.
what prompted this particular, was this conversations that you had with high school groups, or is this just a personal? This
came about by my meeting with the high school groups, and the fact that that it is a concern that anyone would consider suicide under any conditions for any remark or any issue or any trouble in your life. It's just it needs to be known that it is not an option. There are so many other resources that we have available that I want to make sure the community knows about in terms of assistance and training and care. That's kind of why I wanted to do this.
Madam Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
I guess my question is this. I think that your concept and your desire to want to work on a project like this is good, and obviously it would provide value to the community, but I think maybe, I don't know if you're looking for direction from us. My concern would be what role the city staff would play in this, because I think it's been my experience over the last 2 years and years before that I was on council that we have a lot of great organizations that are already up and running in the community that work with children, that work with the families in the community, and I could name a few, but I'm sure that you're aware of many of them and probably some others that you may have worked with in the past. And I think that this kind of program would be very appropriate to partner with a group such as that. And then obviously you can use the public forum here to and your office hours to also make this kind of program known, when it would be taking place and where it would be taking place. But I'm not sure if you brought it to us here at the table because you're looking for some sort of endorsement, and I'm not sure, not knowing what you're looking for, I would be hesitant to endorse the project in a manner that city staff would then have to take on the responsibility of putting together this kind of program. I think that it's great that you would use your position as mayor and as someone that's visible in the community to bring forward something like this, but I don't know if it's necessarily the right forum for us to be talking about it here, and I don't think it's the right direction for us to give staff that this kind of program is something that they need to take on the responsibility of putting together and planning. So if you're looking for support in terms of this is a concept that you would like to work on and that you're going to manage putting it together, perhaps working with some of our community organizations to put together this program, I think that would be great. But I have some concern if you're looking for direction from us to tell city staff or city management to take on the responsibility of putting together this kind of program. I'm not really sure if that's what we should be doing.
It's not a program. It's not as if we're going to have ongoing meetings or organizations. I exactly want to do what you referred to as bring some of these organizations that are already established in the community and give them a venue, a one-night venue, where the community can come together, maybe in the community center, and have people give presentations from these various groups, such as Perspectives of Troy, the Troy Youth Association, the Troy High School, different organizations that care very much about the community and the health of their citizens. So, no, this is not a program that I want to establish where we're going to have ongoing meetings and a hierarchy of board. This is just a one-day seminar that I wanted to host as the mayor, but I didn't want to do it without the council's knowledge or, in fact, involvement, if, in fact, you're interested in. So I think this is really meant to be more of an outreach to you, to let you know what I'm going to do, and if you would like to be involved, I could certainly enjoy your help. Okay? So I think we should go to the study session. Although I would like to say, first of all, I apologize. There were some very favorable letters of appreciation to our police department personnel, and I think that everyone should be sure and review them online. They were very complimentary, and thank you very much, Chief Mayor. My office community hours are available online, so please take advantage of these hours if you'd like to meet with me. And that does conclude the main portion of the meeting, so we will... Yes, sir.
I hate to do this, but I'm going to ask to postpone the study session. I think it's imperative that all 7 council members are present for a discussion on the rules, and I think it's important that Councilman Fleming be there, so I'm going to ask to postpone the item.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll support that, especially for purposes of discussion.
That. Yeah, I would too. So do we need a vote, Mrs. Bittner?
Councilmember Teets?
I'm sorry, I had a question for the chair. When will we reschedule this? I mean, maybe we should just shoot for July. just setting a date. Is there a date possible?
Should we put it on the next agenda, the next meeting agenda? We don't know that Councilman Fleming is going to be back by then, but we would certainly hope so. Yes, sir.
On the next agenda, regular agenda, we have the study session on the governor's hard cap versus 80-20 versus no action, and that may take some time.
Should we have a special meeting? When Councilman Fleming comes back, should we call a special meeting? That would seem to be the appropriate response at this time. Would that be acceptable, Councilman Slater?
I'll just move the amendment to the next available city council meeting that doesn't have a study session.
I think it's more important than that.
That would be the February. What's the next one in February?
I have the calendar here.
February 6th, February 20th.
I think there's going to be a special meeting when Councilman Fleming gets back, so I would just as soon not do it then. I'm going to say February 6th.
Okay. Moved by Councilman Slater that we postpone the rules of procedure until February 6th. Seconded.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis. Any more discussion? Vote, please, Mrs. Bittner.
Councilmember Teets?
Yes.
Mayor Daniels?
Yes.
Councilmember Campbell?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem McGinnis?
Yes.
Councilmember Slater?
Yes.
Motion passes. That concludes the regular business. Meeting has been adjourned.